Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. I welcome class 10th in my fourth lecture for chemistry. Today we will be reading about the final topic of our chapter 9, that is the importance of equilibrium constant. The objectives for today's lecture include the study of Le Chatelier's principle, and then we will apply the Le Chatelier's principle in Haber and contact process. And at the end of lecture we will be studying about the importance of equilibrium constant in predicting important features of the chemical reactions. So moving towards our first topic, that is the Le Chatelier's principle. This principle was proposed by Henry Le Chatelier, and this principle is applicable on all the chemical equilibrium systems. Like we know that in all the reversible reactions there is a dynamic equilibrium, so this principle is applicable on all the reversible reactions. We know that since reversible reactions don't go to completion, therefore they are not economical for large scale production, because in the reversible reactions there is the constant formation of reactants and products both, so some amount of the product is being consumed to reform the reactants. This results in the lower production of the product, a lower amount of product in the reaction mixture. This the amount of the product that we gain after a certain reaction is generally called as the yield of that product. So in reversible reaction, yield of product is generally lower because some part of that product is consumed in reforming the reactant. So this is a drawback of the reversible reaction, and because of this fact these reversible reactions are not economical. So this principle is basically applied in all the reversible reactions to increase the yield of the product in the reversible reactions. So what does this principle say? This principle say that if a dynamic equilibrium is disturbed by changing the conditions, the position of equilibrium moves to oppose that change, or a chemical system responds in a way that opposes that change. So this means that after a certain reaction, when a dynamic equilibrium has been established, we already read that in order to allow it to remain established for a longer period of time, we need to keep constant certain conditions, and those conditions were the concentration of reactants and product should remain constant, the temperature, pressure and volume of the system should remain constant. But if those conditions are changed, then on changing that condition the dynamic equilibrium will be disturbed. So to re-establish the dynamic equilibrium, what the chemical system would do, it will change the position of equilibrium in a direction that is opposing that change. So in this way that disturbed dynamic equilibrium will be re-established. So this is the Le Chatelier principle, and we will be studying it detail in our next slides. So we have read that what are those changes, what are the those changes in the conditions that disturb the dynamic equilibrium. Those changes are the change in either the reactants, concentration of the reactants, or the concentration of the products, the change in the pressure or volume, and the change in the temperature of the system. So you need to memorize that these changes in the conditions of the system changes the position of the equilibrium and disturbs the dynamic equilibrium. So we will be moving towards the first change, that is the change in the concentration of either the reactants or products. Suppose we have an equation in which A reacts with B to form C and D. And if what would happen if we would increase the concentration of reactants in the reaction mixture in which the dynamic equilibrium has been established? So we will study it in detail with this diagram, that before the change in the concentration, there was a dynamic equilibrium between the reactants and products. When we added the reactants in the reaction mixture, this results in the increased concentration of the reactants. So that because of that fact, the dynamic equilibrium got disturbed. Now you may observe that the weight on this side of the equation becomes greater because of the higher concentration of the reactants. In order to re-establish the dynamic equilibrium, we need more weight on to this side of the equation. So how do we will re-establish the dynamic equilibrium? That we will try to increase the concentration of the products. When we are changing the concentration of the reactants by adding more reactants in the reaction mixture, then dynamic equilibrium gets disturbed. So in order to re-establish the dynamic equilibrium, we need to increase the concentration of the product within the reaction mixture. Now, how do we increase the concentration of the products within the reaction mixture? We know that reversible reaction consists of two reactions, forward and reverse. So tell me that which reaction is resulting in the production of products, forward or reverse? It is the forward reaction that is increasing the concentration of the products, because in the forward reaction concentration of C and D is being increased, is being formed. So in order to re-establish the dynamic equilibrium, what would happen? That the reaction would proceed in the forward direction. The rate of the reaction for the forward direction would increase, so to increase the concentration of the C and D in the reaction mixture, and in this way the dynamic equilibrium will be re-established. So this means that if we are increasing the concentration of reactants in the reaction mixture, then the equilibrium position will move in the forward direction. That is, the rate of the forward reaction will become greater to achieve or to re-establish the dynamic equilibrium. Now we are moving towards another case. We first talk about the case in which we increase the concentration of reactants. Now we will talk about the case in which we are decreasing the concentration of reactants. So what is the change that we are carrying out within the reaction mixture? That change is the decreasing concentration of reactants. Now we know that whenever we adopt certain change in a reaction mixture, the chemical system would oppose that change. So if we are decreasing the concentration of reactants, how the chemical system would oppose? It would oppose by increasing the concentration of reactants. Like when we decrease the concentration of reactants, the condition become like this. More weight is on this side of the equation. So we need to add more weight to this side of the equation in order for this dynamic equilibrium to be re-established. How do we add weight to this side of the equation? We will add weight to this side of the equation by increasing the concentration of A and B in the reaction mixture. Now as we discussed about that in the reversible reaction, we are having two kinds of reaction, reverse and forward. So in the reverse reaction, there is the formation of A plus B. So this means that if we want to increase the concentration of the reaction in order to re-establish the dynamic equilibrium, we need the reaction needed to move in the reverse direction. So when we decrease the concentration of the reactants in the reaction mixture, the position of equilibrium will be shifted in the reverse direction. The rate of reverse reaction will increase in order to compensate that decrease in the concentration of the reactants. Now I have summarized this concept with the help of a table. Now in the first case, what change we brought in the reaction mixture? Increase in the concentration of the reactants. Now the dynamic equilibrium gets disturbed. Now, what would the system do? Le Chatelier's principle says that the system would oppose that change. So, how will it oppose that change? It will oppose that change in this case by decreasing the concentration of reactants. How would it decrease the concentration of reactants? By moving the equilibrium position in the forward direction. And what is happening in the forward direction? In the forward direction, there would be the increased production of the C and D in the reaction mixture. Now, in second case, what change we brought? We actually decreased the concentration of reactants. Now, what would the chemical system do? Chemical system would oppose that decrease in the concentration of reactants. How would it oppose that change? It would oppose that change by shifting the equilibrium position in reverse direction. So what would happen if the equilibrium position shifts in the reverse direction? There would be the increased production of A and B. So this is how the change in concentration affect the position of equilibrium. Now we will move towards another condition that is about. So now before moving forward, there is a animation that is telling that if we are adding reactants in the reaction mixture, then the reaction will move in the forward direction to re-establish that dynamic equilibrium. So this is how that dynamic equilibrium is re-established. See, we are adding reactants, dynamic equilibrium gets disturbed, reaction will then move in the forward direction. What would happen in the forward direction? More formation of the products. Now the dynamic equilibrium will be re-established. Now we are discussing about another condition, that is the change in pressure. By changing the pressure, we can also allow the equilibrium position to move either in the forward direction or in the reverse direction. So before moving forward, we would see that under what conditions this change in pressure would affect the position of equilibrium. The change in pressure would affect the position of equilibrium for gaseous systems only. Because for the systems, for example, if we are having a system in which all the chemical substances are in a liquid or in solid phase, then the change in pressure would not affect the position of equilibrium for these reactions. Why? Because in the liquid and solid state, the molecules are already close together. So when the pressure is applied, there is no appreciable change in the volume of the substances in the liquid or the solid state. There would be an appreciable change in volume only when those substances are in the gaseous state, because we know that in the gaseous states molecules are wide apart from each other. So there is an appreciable change in the volume of the gaseous substances when the pressure is applied. So always remember that the change in pressure would affect the equilibrium position only for the gaseous systems. Second condition is that the change in pressure would affect equilibrium position only for systems in which number of molecules on both sides of the reaction differ. For example, if we are having a reaction like this, you may observe that there are two number of molecules on the left side of the equation and there are two number of molecules on the right side of the equation. So the number of molecules on the left and right side do not differ. So in this case, the change in pressure would not change the position of equilibrium, right? But if we are having a system in which there is this kind of chemical reaction in which the number of molecules on the reactant side is 3 and the number of molecule on the product side is 2. Now you may see that there is the number of molecules on the left and right side of the equation are different. So for all the chemical systems of this case where the number of molecules on the left and right side of the equation are different, for all these systems the change in pressure would affect the position of equilibrium. So when we increase the pressure, it results in decreased volume and the lesser space. So this will affect then the position of the equilibrium. We will discuss this concept through a certain example, and in this example, one molecule of A reacts with two molecules of B to form C and D. Now you may observe in this equation that there are three molecules on the left side of the reaction and two molecules on the right side of the equation. Now what would happen if the pressure is increased? Now just see that greater, just put it in your mind that greater the number of molecules, greater the number of gaseous molecule, greater will be the pressure. Smaller the number of gaseous molecules, smaller will be the pressure. I am repeating it. Greater the number of gaseous molecule, greater will be the pressure. Smaller the number of molecule, lesser will be the pressure. So what change do we brought in the reaction mixture? We are increasing the pressure. Now Le-Chatelier principle say that whatever change is brought in the reaction mixture, the chemical system will oppose that change. So if we are increasing the pressure, chemical system would try to decrease that pressure. Now how would it decrease that pressure? You may see in this reaction that as it is a reversible reaction, so in the forward direction there is the formation of two molecules. In the reverse direction there is the formation of three molecules. So this means that when there is formation of two molecules, then there will be less pressure, and when there is the formation of three molecules, there will be more pressure. So if we are increasing the pressure, chemical system would decrease that pressure. How? It would decrease that pressure by increasing the rate of forward reaction. Why? Because when the rate of forward reaction will increase, the number of molecules in that system will also decrease. So that decrease in the number of molecules would result in the decrease of the pressure. So this is how chemical system achieves the dynamic equilibrium or re-establish the dynamic equilibrium. So when we increase the pressure, equilibrium will move towards the position that decreases the pressure. Now since there are three molecules on the right, this order is wrong. Three molecules on the left side and two molecules on the right side. So what would happen? That there is a decreased pressure on the right side, so the equilibrium position will move towards this direction. And what is happening in this direction? In this direction there is the formation of C and D. So on increasing the pressure, there the concentration of C and D in the reaction mixture would increase, and the equilibrium position will move from left to the right. Now what if pressure is decreased? As we have talked about that if we are decreasing the pressure, the chemical system would oppose that change by increasing that pressure. Now in this chemical reaction, how the pressure would increase? It would move in a direction that is producing more number of molecules. So which direction is producing more number of molecules, forward or reverse? It is the reverse direction, because in the reverse direction we are getting three molecules. So if the pressure is decreased, equilibrium move towards the position that increases P. Three molecules on the left side and two molecules on the right side. Correct it please. Here it is written three molecules on the right side. It is three molecules on the left side and three molecules on the left side and two molecules on the right side. So if we are decreasing the pressure, the chemical system, in order to increase that pressure, would move in this direction. So what is happening in this direction? In this direction reverse reaction is occurring, and what is happening in the reverse reaction? There is the formation of reactants. So decreasing the pressure would result in the increased concentration of reactants in the reaction mixture. Now I have summarized this in the form of table. if we brought change by increasing pressure, system would oppose that change of increased pressure by moving the equilibrium position in the forward direction, and there would be the increased production of C and D. If we decrease pressure, equilibrium position will move in the reverse direction, and there would be the increased production of the A and B substances. Now we will study about the change in temperature, effect of change in temperature on the position of the chemical equilibrium. So this is an example in which we have a reversible reaction, and this reaction is exothermic, means that in this reaction heat is being released. So what would happen if the temperature is increased for the exothermic reaction? For the exothermic reaction, this means that there is the formation of heat in the forward direction. So if we are increasing the temperature of the system, then the dynamic equilibrium will be disturbed. So in order to release that extra heat that we added in this system, the system would move in a direction that would absorb that heat, that would absorb that extra heat. Now you may observe that this is a reversible reaction. So this means that it is occurring in both forward and the reverse direction. In this reaction, in the forward direction, there is the release of heat. So this means that if this reversible reaction would proceed in the reverse direction, then that heat will be absorbed. Because if forward reaction is always opposite to the reverse reaction, so if forward reaction is an exothermic reaction, then reverse reaction would be endothermic reaction. So if we are adding heat into the system, then in order to decrease that extra amount of heat, the system would move in a direction that would absorb heat. So which direction is absorbing heat, forward or reverse? That is the reverse, because in the reverse reaction heat is being absorbed. So if we are adding heat in this system, then the equilibrium position will move in this direction, that is from left to right. What is happening in this direction? There is the formation of the reactants. So in all the cases like these, if the temperature is increased, then the system will move in a direction to reduce temperature, that is from left to the right. So from the right to the left direction. In which direction it would move? From right to the left. So there would be the increased concentration of A and B. So increasing the temperature of system in a dynamic equilibrium favors the endothermic reaction. If the forward reaction is exothermic, then the reverse reaction would be, if the forward reaction is exothermic, then the reverse reaction would be endothermic. So increasing the temperature of system in a dynamic equilibrium will favor the endothermic reaction, and the system counteracts. Counteracts mean oppose that change you have made by absorbing the extra heat. Just remember that whatever change we are bringing in a chemical system, the chemical system would oppose that change. If we are increasing the temperature, chemical system would try to decrease it. Then see in the reversible chemical equation that which side of the reaction is decreasing the temperature of the system. Either it is the forward or reverse. So if the reverse reaction is decreasing the temperature of the system, then chemical equilibrium position will move in the reverse direction. Now we will talk about the fact that what would happen if the temperature is decreased. Now what change we are bringing in a chemical system? Decreased temperature. How the chemical system would oppose that change? By increasing the temperature. Now see in this equation that which side is increasing temperature, forward or reverse? So that is the forward side, because in the forward reaction the heat is being released. So that heat which is being released in the forward reaction would try to compensate the decrease in the heat that we brought in a chemical system. So if we decrease the temperature in this kind of system, then the equilibrium position will move in the right direction, that is from left to the right. So if equilibrium moves in the right direction, there would be the increased production of C and D in the reaction mixture. So decreasing the temperature of a system in a dynamic equilibrium favors the exothermic reaction, and this system counteracts that change. This system opposes that change you have made by producing more heat. So I have summarized it in tabular form, that increase in temperature would be opposed by the chemical system by the fact that dynamic equilibrium will favor reverse reaction, and there would be the increased production of A and B. I have summarized this table while taking the example of this reaction. Alright. So with respect to this reaction, if we decrease temperature, dynamic equilibrium will favor the forward direction, because decreasing temperature favors the exothermic reaction. In this example, forward reaction is exothermic reaction. So what is happening in the forward reaction? There is the increased production of the C and D. So now we have talked about three conditions that when we actually changed the position of the equilibrium. What were those conditions? Changes in the concentration of reactants and product, changes in temperature, change in pressure and volume. That is that really happens that when we change the pressure, volume change automatically. So we will study the effect of change in pressure along with the change in volume within the reaction mixture. So now we are discussing a factor which do not change the position of the equilibrium, but it only increases the rate of reactions, right? The effect of catalyst on the equilibrium position isn't any. Like catalyst never changes the position of equilibrium, it only helps for that reaction mixture to attain that dynamic equilibrium earlier than the expected. For example, without catalyst, if in a reaction mixture the dynamic equilibrium is being established in say 30 minutes, then with the addition of that catalyst, the dynamic equilibrium will be established in 10 minutes. So we know that what catalysts do, catalyst basically increases the rate of reaction. So when we will add the catalyst in the reaction mixture, the rate of forward and reverse reaction would increase, and because of the increase in the rate of forward reaction, dynamic equilibrium will be achieved faster than the expected. So Catalyst is any substance that speeds up the rate of reaction by providing an alternative reaction pathway of lower energy. When added to reversible reaction, a catalyst increases the rate of both the forward and reverse reaction equally. So this has two results. There is no change to the position of the equilibrium, and equilibrium is reached faster. So the use of catalyst is particularly important in industry. Why? Because in industry we produce large amount of chemical substances. So in order to produce large amount of chemical substances in a shorter time, the catalyst will be added for those reactions. So in this way, that reaction would be more economical. So now in the next session we will be discussing about the industrial applications of the Le Chatelier principle.